Hey everyone, my name is Starman, and I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up video to something I made a couple months ago. This is going to be an entire video talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and specifically who I would personally want for DLC in that game. Not going to make this any sort of like a countdown, not going to make this any sort of like scripted or anything. It's just going to be kind of a discussion of my personal opinions. So, yeah, I guess let's just get this started here. So, right off the bat, we know that Joker's coming from Persona 5. So that's one of the 5 DLC characters or DLC packs they said. And I want to straight up say that I think that if we are to get new DLC, it's going to be, my personal opinion, I think all the new DLC is going to be third party. I have a couple of reasons for that. Part of the reason is that probably the biggest reason is that they promised that they were going to have a lot of, maybe not a lot, but several new music tracks with each of the DLC. And while there's no confirmed number of that, I kind of assume it'll be more than what we got for the Final Fantasy stage, and probably close to 10, if not more. Probably roughly around what the Bayonetta stage got. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. It's kind of hard to say. Because that, to me, I think does play in a bit of a determining factor with a lot of these characters. For Joker, it makes sense because there's a lot of music they can use from Persona, so not just Persona 5, but a lot of people want to see music from, like, Persona 4 and maybe Persona 3 and some of the older games, too. I don't know how much of that would be happening, but, you know, there's gonna be a decent chunk of Persona 5 music, people think. But, yeah, so that kind of makes me, like, it basically, the reason I say this is that if we got a new Mario character, for example, or a new Legend of Zelda character, or a new Kirby character or something, there's already so much music from all those, like, franchises in Smash that if they were to include new music in that, I just don't think it's that realistically feasible. Just kind of my own personal opinion on the matter, but that's just the way I kind of see some things. Now, as for characters I think that would be in, and this is completely my opinion, this is going to be more realistic than my last video, which was kind of had a lot of joke characters, some that I actually wanted. Only one of them actually got in the final game, and that was Ken. But yeah, so on the first topic of characters I would actually like to see, I feel like if there's one third party that we have seen a lot, it would be from Capcom, and we already have 3 Capcom characters in the game already: Ryu, Ken, and Mega Man. And I don't know if I expect another Capcom character. They have their own fighting game series, the Marvel vs. Capcom games, as well as like a lot of other just Street Fighters and Final Fights and all those other Capcom games, so there could be a whole boatload of characters that could actually make it in. But I think realistically, if we were to get 2 more Capcom characters, one of them I would like to see would be Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4. For a couple of reasons. I know some people were saying, when I brought the idea up, were saying, well, why not Chris? Why not Wesker? Why not, you know, Jill? Why not so many other characters who were in the Resident Evil series? And my only answer to that really is that Leon was the main character of Resident Evil 4, which 4's critically acclaimed to be one of the greatest games of all time. And I've only played a little bit of it, but I'm really looking forward to playing more of it whenever the Switch version actually comes out, which I have pre-purchased already. Second of all, 4 was originally a GameCube launch title, or not a launch title, but it was originally like an exclusive GameCube title, so if 4's really, like, it has its roots on Nintendo systems before it was ported to a lot of other things, but it's been on GameCube, it's been on Wii, it's been on a lot of other things too, and it's also coming to Switch, so it just, in general, Leon kind of makes sense. And plus also Leon's in Resident Evil 2, which just got an HD remaster. Well, that's not on the Switch. The Resident Evil 2, it's more of a remake than a remaster, but that's also been really good too, so the Leon's very much, I think, still relevant, and I just think a Resident Evil character, if we were to get one, I think in similar veins to how... I think it's in similar veins to how Cloud is probably like the most... I'd say Cloud's probably one of the most recognizable Final Fantasy characters, so on that merit I think he makes sense, and I think Leon would make sense for similar reasons. That's just kind of my own personal opinion on it, though. On topic of another Capcom character, I would really like to see Amaterasu from Okami, and that may be seen as like kind of... a lot of people would probably say that's a really good choice, and I honestly think I could see that. It's a Capcom game. Ami's move pool is extremely versatile, and it's made by... Okami was made by the same guy who made Bayonetta, and Bayonetta's already in Smash, so it's like, you know, I don't think it would be that much more unrealistic. Well, I guess they wouldn't need his licensing, they would need Capcom's, but it's... Either way, it's made by a studio that has characters in Smash, as well as the guy who also has a character in Smash, so it's like, you know, I don't really see Ami as being a bad choice either. Plus, Okami has a lot of great music that could go along with it, too, and I could just imagine half the stages they could go with. Like, I'd realistically probably expect a stage based on, Shinshu Fields, but for all we know, we could get Ryoshima Coast, we could get, I don't know, like, oh, what the heck's the name of that one? We could get a number of the dungeons, we could get, like, I don't know, like, Wauku Shrine, which I know is kind of a late game area, but that area has always been one of the most, like, visually appealing places for me. There's a lot of great choices, though, they could go with if they were picking a stage from Okami. So that's two of my characters. One character I would really like to see, and this is kind of a up-in-the-air choice, but I would really like to see Crash Bandicoot in Smash. I know it's a really weird choice for me, because I'm not the biggest fan of Crash Bandicoot in the world. I like the games, I love watching people play the games. I'm just really kind of crap at them. But I think Crash has a very good, versatile moveset that, you know, his spins could be kind of like Incineroar using Darkest Lariat. He has a double jump, he has the bazooka. He, just in general, has a lot of abilities that would make a good Smash fighter. You know, there's probably a hefty amount of music they could pick. They could pick probably a good number of stages to choose from. I just think Crash in general would be, like, just one of those characters I think that would be a really decent choice for Smash. And that kind of brings me into some other discussions as well, because, the next character I'd want to see kind of brings into a weird, like, topic. There's been a lot of speculation about a Dragon Quest character getting in Smash, and it's kind of a weird thing where, like, Dragon Quest is a franchise that I never really understood much of. I've never really played it, but it's one of those things that's really popular in Japan, but, like, no one else really... Well, no one else really talks about it that much. It's not really as big as, say, Final Fantasy, Super Mario RPG, Chrono Trigger, or, like, any of those kinds of games, but yet, it's, like, a really, really huge series over in Japan, so it kind of gets into this weird balance of, like, how do they balance it for the Western audiences versus the Japanese audiences. In particular, the character a lot of people were thinking of was a guy named Erdrick, I think was his name. And I don't know much about the character. the only thing that I'm skeptical on if there's another Square represented character, Square is super stingy with a lot of licensing things, and like if we're to get a character from, say, when we got a Final Fantasy character, we got 2 songs, 1 stage, which had a couple of summons represented on the stage. We got 2 Mii costumes, one based on Chocobos and one based on Gino from Mario RPG. And this is back in the days of Smash 4. And in Ultimate, we got next to nothing. No Final Fantasy spirits, the same 2 songs, there's a dozen different Final Fantasy characters they could have picked for spirits, but they never did anything with Final Fantasy for spirit battles. There's just so little they actually did that if we were to get another Square Enix character, it's like, I just see them being really stingy with rights, and that's the thing, like, if we're getting several new music tracks, like, would they be more open to more Dragon Quest music than what we got with Final Fantasy? Because if so, that seems a little bit strange. If we're talking a Square Enix character I'd realistically want, I know a lot of people are quick to point out Gino, and I'll be honest, especially that Gino's a spirit, which, okay, that's one more spirit we got, but if Gino's a spirit, I really don't think that we're good. I just don't think Gino would make the final cut, I don't think. But also, I think I'd rather see Chrono over Gino. And, or any other Square Enix representative. I maybe really say I've played as Mario RPG, and, I like both Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG. I should honestly play through, Final Fantasy, because I have a SNES Classic, so I should probably play Final Fantasy VI at some point. I just never thought to actually doing that for one reason or another. And yeah, I guess lastly, I know I've named off 4 characters already, and realistically we know one of them's coming already, so one of the characters is, so like there's 4 already. But realistically, I think if we were to get one more character, the one I think most people probably want to see is Banjo. And initially, I was really skeptical in saying this, because I would have loved Banjo in, but I did not realistically see it for years. But now more than ever I do, because Banjo's a character that he's had a lot of people point out to Banjo saying that he's not really relevant anymore, and I kind of disagree. For one reason, in Smash Ultimate specifically, we got K. Rool in Smash, and K. Rool's been gone for as long as Banjo has. K. Rool's last game was in Mario Super Sluggers, which came out in 2008, which was the same year we got Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. So, if we could get K. Rool in Smash after a decade, I don't see why we realistically couldn't get Banjo in. There was enough demand for K. Rool, and I feel there's enough demand for Banjo. Here's the other debate with Banjo, though. A lot of people say that, Rare's now obviously owned by Microsoft, but there's one other game that's also owned by Microsoft now that a lot of people think that should also be in Smash. And that game is Minecraft. And I'm just gonna be straight up and say this, I've barely touched Minecraft. My first time playing it was like 2 years ago, which may sound like a while ago now, but the game's been out since 2009 and has realistically been big since 2010. So it's a game that's been around for a really, really long time. And a lot of people think that it's a game that should be in a game franchise that should be represented in Smash. And I can see that. The main character is named Steve, and I'll be honest, I don't think Steve would be that interesting of a character. I could maybe see him as a Mii costume, a Mii sword fighter costume. That I could realistically see a lot. But as a playable fighter, I just don't see what he would have that would make him that unique. Like, apart from someone like Link. Because all he really has is things like various like types of like pickaxes, swords, arrows, whatever. Like, stuff that you would think that Link would already have, kind of. Mostly the bow, the arrows and swords. And I could maybe see him being able to place blocks around, but I don't see any other realistic thing that, like, makes him, like, that unique of a fighter. And I'm realistically saying this in a extremely biased way. Like, full transparency, and I've said it many times, but this is my favorite game of all time. And I just think that at this point in time, like, I wasn't sure about Banjo, but I don't see why not at this point. We have so much third-party support right now, and the reason this whole Microsoft thing is now on board is because there's this big speculation about what, there's this rumor that or I don't know if it was a rumor, if it was, like, somewhat confirmed but not shown off or what, but there's been a talk that Xbox Live was coming to Switch. And that is the weirdest freaking words to say in anyone's mouth. But apparently, it's being... it would be for games like Fortnite or Minecraft or Rocket League or any other of those cross-platform games where you could play those games on Switch and play them with people on Xbox. And I think that's a really great idea. When I first heard of the idea of online gaming, I always thought that was something that games should have been able to do. But, yeah. So, I just think that, you know, if we were to get a Microsoft rep, it's boiling down now to between Banjo and Steve, and ironically, neither of them were originally Microsoft. Some people could ask, like, why not, like, someone like Master Chief, and, you know, we've had other characters like Snake and Bayonetta and Joker get in, but I don't know if I could see Master Chief get in Smash. That just, to me, that idea is really, really, like, overblown at this point. Or, like, so far, just so far-fetched, but I mean, what isn't far-fetched at this point? But yeah, it's like, you know, I've heard some people say, like, I've heard people in the Minecraft camp say that things like Banjo's a dead franchise and that Minecraft's the biggest game in the world, but I don't know if I agree with that, because I still think that Banjo would be really welcomed. And it's a thing that appeals to two completely different fan bases. It's like, Banjo appeals to people who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, whereas Minecraft is newer than Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. To let that sink in for a moment. So, to say that Minecraft is, like, it's newer than it is, and it is a successful game. I don't think anyone would ever deny Minecraft being one of the biggest selling games in the world. That's a fact. But I just think that... I just remembered one other thing I could say about, why I don't think a Minecraft character in Smash would be that ideal, and it also goes back again to the whole music tracks thing. I'm not saying Minecraft doesn't have good music or whatever, really, but, like, a lot of Minecraft's music's really ambient. I'm just kind of unsure, like, not really sure how I feel about, like, really, really, really ambient music coming to Smash. I'm not saying it couldn't be done, but, you know, a lot of Minecraft's music just wouldn't really sound like it would be the kind of thing you would expect to hear in Super Smash Bros., I guess. I don't know, like, I'm coming at this from an extremely, extremely biased perspective. But I just think that Banjo would make a really perfect fit for Smash. I think everyone probably, or not everyone, but, like, a majority of people probably would think that. And only time will tell, I've realized. It's kind of dumb making videos about this, because, like, you know, this time next year we'll know who all the characters are, but that's a whole year away. Joker comes out in about a month's time, or by the end of April, I think. But, I don't realistically expect to see the next DLC character until, like, E3. And that's just kind of going by both what Smash 4's DLC lifespan was, but also just in general, like, I feel like E3 would be the perfect time to announce a new character for Smash. You know, I feel like we're gonna get Joker. Things are gonna go silent for a little bit. Well, we got 2 new modes coming with Joker as well, and a lot of people are speculating it might be a stage builder or something else, maybe like maybe home run contest or bringing back something, I guess. But like, if we get Joker in that, that would keep people occupied for a little bit, and then E3 would come around, and we would get a character, and then the announcement that the character would come, like, later that day or in the next week or so. That's my best guess, anyway. Because that's what happened with Ryu, except for the fact Ryu was data mined, which ruined a lot of the immersion, unfortunately. But then, like, I feel like if we were to get more characters, one of them would probably come in, like, September. One of them would come in November, December, and then the last one would come in February. That's almost exactly what happened with Smash 4, except we never got one in, like, a September thing. But a lot of Smash 4's DLC was also bringing back 2 characters from Melee and 1 from Brawl. Mewtwo, Roy, and Lucas. So, yeah, I think that's gonna just about do it for this video. Yeah, I kind of just rambled on a little bit. If you have any ideas for, like, what you would realistically want to see in Smash, I mean, for all we know, I mean, realistically, we could end up getting freaking Erdrick, Steve, and freaking, I don't know, 2 random JRPG characters with swords that no one ever freaking heard of outside of Japan, and whatever, so, like, it's just kind of one of those hard to tell what might or might not happen with Smash at this point. So, yeah, that's just kind of the 5 characters I think I would realistically want. Obviously not all 5 would get in. I don't even know if I expect any of these characters to get in, but we got, to recap, I said Banjo, Amaterasu from Okami, Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil, Crash Bandicoot, and Chrono from Chrono Trigger. I think realistically those would be the characters I'd want to see. And yeah, let's just open this up to a bit of a discussion. If you have anything else you want to say, then just feel free to leave a comment, I guess. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. I've been Master Starman, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.